welcome back. So, as you can see, things are a little bit different than they were when we ended the last episode. I have added a few more machines. So, this is the fabric glove dispenser. So this spits out the fabric sheets into a splitter. Same principle as over here. We're cutting fabric gloves over here. We're going to restock those. And we're cutting fabric gloves over here. That's because craft speed of 2 seconds. And this is spitting them out every one. So we can run 2 of these at full capacity off of a single dispenser. That's all I care about right there. And it has an output speed of half a second. Again, it's the identical situation over here that we're going to end up with a backup of fabric gloves, but that's okay. We'll keep an eye on that, and as we get a backup of it, we'll just shut the dispensers off so that we're not using a ton of fabric sheets that we don't need to. Now over here, you can see I've reorganized a little bit. Added the fabric glove dispenser here. I moved this plastic fitting dispenser. This was the one that was feeding over here, but I've made it. I've put it through a splitter because we're outputting it, every half a second, and our craft speed over here is every half a second, right? But so is our craft speed over here. Our craft speed over here is every 2 seconds, right? And so I don't mind having a slower, very minimally slower glove because we're getting so many of them that it's fine. And we can restock those contents just so that we're, caught back up. We'll restock these so that I like to have, whenever I have those, I like to restock them just so that we don't have them flooded with one particular item at a time. Alright, and then here, I added a dispenser for camo gloves. And note, it is on this side of the zipper, so that when it comes out of the dispenser, it goes over the line and through the zipper again, because even if I were to hoover up these gloves, having gone through the zipper, when they land back in the dispenser, they're going to need to go through the zipper again before they can get boxed up. It's just the way the game works, so just something to keep in mind. Alright, so I'm going to name this one Camo Gloves, just so that we know. And I try to do this with pretty much any item that I can. This is too close. I guess I could put it right here, but I'm not worried about it right now for this, because I don't think we have any of those in our inventory. Maybe we do. Yeah, we got one, but it's not really enough to worry about. But yeah, if we put the camo vest here, then this way, if you have to hoover up any of your finished items, then you have a way to get it back on the line and out the door so that you don't have it clogging up your inventory. But for now, that's where we're at. Also, I researched another item here. This. It is our belts tier 2. The reason I did that was so that we could get these small 1-block belts. They make great turners for this, where these are too big to do like I did here and have them direct connected. You need them attached to a belt. And trying to do that with the larger belts was kind of convoluted. It wasn't worth the hassle. Not when we can add a research and just get the belts. But what that does mean is that we have researched our Kevlar dispenser. So now we can get the resin machine. And it may be time to start looking down here. Oh, that was the other thing, is we, again, needed to expand our electricity. So I added another one, and now we have 500 electricity. And we had to hire a new guy. So we have another line control worker. But, yeah. Now we have a lot of products being created. 325 camo vests, 255 gloves. Let's see what our orders look like. Yeah, we can... I've shut off the automation right now, mainly because I want to control the time frame. Like this one has a higher amount than this one, but it ends sooner, and it's a US, so we're trying to build up our reputation in the US, so I want to take more fine-tuned control over that. Let's see. Anything available? Let's take this one. That's also US, so we'll take that. Camo vest, camo gloves. We'll wait on you. Wait on you. We'll wait on elite crew. We'll take CIA. We got our resin machine. And now the armor press. As you can see, we have $72,937. So our money's going down because we're expanding. We may need to grind for a little bit, build our money back up. The maintenance cost is lower than what we're actually making in sales, and it's far lower than our production value. So if we can start selling like our camo vests, then it'll be fine. Let's look at our active, see if we have anything that we can sell. Alright, so here we have our camo vests and 360 camo gloves. Do we even have enough storage capacity for that? I think we might, but we'll see. And there is no way to speed up the game. I've looked. I don't know if that's something they plan to add in the future, or if we're just stuck with this, but it does allow you to think more. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, if you get your machine set up, you can just walk away from your computer and let it run, and it will, go. That's the beauty about the automation, is this is a game that once you set it up, it can play by itself. You want to come back and make sure that you did everything right, but I have set it up and left it overnight and had millions of dollars in the morning. So it's if you like a more micromanaged simulator, then you can definitely do that as well. If you like something that you can set and walk away from and leave it for a bit, this lets you do both. Now, let me... There, now you can actually see. Alright, so we see 404 camo vests. We have 211 out of 360 gloves. So we're pretty close. We may go for SEAL Team 6 first. Oh, there's our armor press. Alright. Now, Kevlar helmets. This is going to cost us 8,000, and it's 250 to our research points, which we have just enough of, but we need a chemical dryer, and we do not have that yet. So, where is that? Well, I believe that's right here, or the next one. Oh, where are you? No, I don't remember. Oh, right there. Chemical dryer. So we'll research that. And then we're going to have to wait and build our research points back up before we can get the Kevlar. Orders. Alright, so because we're kind of running out of room on our shelf over here, let's take the SEAL Team 6. Boom, 12,680. We're good. That frees up a lot of storage capacity. Any very low orders that we can just knock out real quick? Doesn't look it. Maybe this 200. Oof, 560 for SEAL Team 6. And we can cancel orders, but I believe that will damage our reputation a lot. And so our reputation is starting to grow in the US. We are a reputation level of 80. We are neutral. We have a reputation of 135 with the CIA, an 8 with the US Police Forces, and a 25 with SEAL Team 6. So we want to keep it up with, you know, the CIA. They're very important to us. Very helpful. But we definitely want to start, you know, courting the U.S. Police Forces. And SEAL Team 6 as well. So, we order this by order value. SEAL Team 6 has the least valuable order for us. Well, they're tied for the least, but we want to knock those right out as quickly as possible. And we may want to, you know, add, as we're growing, we may want to expand our automation rules so that it limits the value of the order that we can accept. Alright, so that was our dryer. We have 210 research points. Now, let's see. You may want to start thinking about researching these, but maybe the line control capacity, because the thing is, just like in real life with this game, the ability to lower your overhead costs is going to increase your potential for profits, right? So being able to lower your maintenance costs here and increase the amount of machines that any single person can control is going to allow us to, you know, cut costs directly here and also to improve efficiencies here. Because if we get to this level, right, that's 16. Right now, every machine or every line can only have 10 machines. So, by, you know, expanding to this point, that allows us to have an additional 6 machines per person. And so, if we look here, just with these 2 people alone, we could get rid of him. Because he only has 2 machines. Just with one of those people, we could get rid of him. I mean, he's got 10, he's got 10. But if we got both of these people up to 16, that is, you know, an additional 12 just between the 2 of them. And that's more than he can control on his own right now. So imagine, the ability to cut your cost by an entire person's salary. And that's the kind of ruthlessness that we're going to have if we're going to get to our goal of the, $100 million. $100 million in wealth. Alright, let's look back at our orders. We can get SEAL Team 6 taken care of. We'll do that. Alright. Let's see. We have 600 and so many. 700. We've got 300. 300. So, I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to shut those machines off. I'll probably shut them off when we get to about 1,000. So we have 2,000 fabric gloves there. 2,000 here. Only one fabric vest. And see, this takes 3 fabric sheets. And this dispenses 1 every second, which means that the dispenser here is actually slower than the cutter, because the cutter takes 2 seconds. Now, we could feed 2 dispensers in, right? That would be 2 fabric sheets per second. And that would allow us to have 4 fabric sheets every 2 seconds. That would be 1 fabric sheet more than this requires. Okay? Which means we need to find a way of splitting one of those fabric sheets in half, right? The way to do that is to take 3 okay? We take 3 dispensers. One of those goes directly into this machine. The other one goes directly into another machine. And then the middle one we could put through a splitter. And that would split between the 2 machines. And that would allow us to have 1 dispenser that spits out a fabric sheet every half a second to each machine. Or every 2 seconds to each machine, which would allow us to have half a sheet per second. The math works out. It's just one of those things that you have to, think about or write down on paper. And that's really where the strategy behind this game is. If you're working on a wealth build, a wealth playthrough, is you're trying to, find all of these small incremental things that you can do to improve your efficiencies, get through your lines as quickly as possible, and that's one of those things. We need to know how fast our machines work, what the rate of flow is, and how we can best optimize for that rate of flow. I like dispensers because there's no crafting speed. The only number that you need to worry about is that output speed, right? And so, if you know what that output speed is, the only other number that you need to know is how much I can output, my total capacity. And that's something that we can control by added machines. Alright. So I'm going to grind for a bit. Do some research. Probably tackle the Kevlar helmet. Now that we have the dryer. Let's bump that up to 2,000. Or 2% rather. And get some more orders out. And that way, we can get shit done. But I will be back with you when we're ready to make the next step. Alrighty. So, it looks like It's going to be a while before we make a ton of money, but we're up to 81,855. Let me go turn this back on. We'll leave that off for now. Basically, I have accepted every order that involves camo gloves and the vests. Alright, and we'll do ascending time. And so if we look at this screen, we'll see that this is the value of the order. This is how much longer in real life time we have to fulfill this order. So we have 16 minutes to get 300 camo gloves, 20 minutes to get 560, 21 to get 300, and that's, you know, the deal is like, as we fulfill these, we'll pay it off. So that's going to take a minute. Let's look around. I've played around with this a little bit. You see this is running but empty. This has 5,750 in there now, with a new glove coming out every time we get a new plastic fitting in, so about once a second. This is coming out every time we get a new fabric vest in. For the vests, this is obviously our weak point. Now I did a little math, and we need 3 of these dispensers for, I believe it was 2 cutters, and that will feed us enough so that the amount of product that we're feeding into the cutters is the same as the amount of product that is coming out of the cutters, right? And so I think what we might do is we're going to pause that. Gonna let that ride. Alright, we're gonna pause this, and we will move this over here, back this up, right? Because it's going to be 2 cutters, and we need 2 more dispensers. Now, we'll also need a flow splitter. So the way this is going to work, right, is we will have these set up this way. So they're pointing off to the side. We will have the flow splitter set up. You know what? I think it might be best. Whoa, that was weird. I think it might be best if we go this way with it. The reason being is we can now put down this, right? And we can put these right here. Just like we did over there. Over here, where we have the cutters, we are going to put this there, that there. And this one is going to go this direction, and this one will go this direction. Alright, and it's going to come over here. I'm going to go over one. That's lined up now. I think. Yeah. I'll leave that a full size, but it could probably be a 1 And now we have these 3 dispensers. The way these are going to work, so we'll line them up beside each other, and we're going to feed into the splitter this way. Now this, this should provide us with fabric vests that will keep our camo vests flowing. Now, there's going to be some slowdown now on the plastic fitting side, but as you can see, we have plenty of plastic fittings to run with for right now. So I'm just going to fabric sheet and fabric sheet. This one should be set up. Alright, now come back over here. He's full. You have 2. So we'll start with over here and just find the ones that are active. That's off. Alright. So I need to do this one, this one, this one, and that one. That means I need a new line, doesn't it? Yes. Alright. So come up here. New station. And once again, this is probably going to be temporary, because we're going to be increasing the maximum capacity per line. Alright, we'll turn that on. Make sure that's on. And I always like to start from the towards the end of the line and work my way back towards the beginning of the line, just so I know everything's turned on. Alright, and we go like this. And we can... Ooh, look at that. This is where we pause, because that was not lined up properly. Oopsie. But that's okay. It's an easy fix. Turn these back on. Turn this back on. And go. Now, we should start seeing that. Yep. As you can see, it's just flying right through. And this is going to start to backlog. Right? Because now we have 2 vests coming out every 2 seconds. So that that is 1 vest per second. Which means that we would need 2 mixers or mergers. And now you can start to see how these machines can become convoluted, right? It's like we only need the 1 zipper because that can handle all of the ones coming through. But we'll need another merger, which means we'll need another splitter, and probably we're going to need to have our plastic fittings directly into that splitter as well. The problem with that is the splitter doesn't allow you to differentiate between items, so you can get into the issue of having a splitter that has 1 vest coming through and then a plastic fitting, and then so the vest will go to one side and then the plastic fitting will go to the other. And if they're evenly spaced, you end up with one side that always gets all the vests and the other side that always gets all the plastic fittings. That's not optimal. So this is fine for now, I don't mind getting a backlog of these camo vests. It's not going to increase our output of vests by that much. It actually will increase it because we're never... we don't have the delay of not having enough product available, but it's only going to give us what we have available there. Alright, now on this side, we're out of plastic fittings here and here. So we're going to run through our stock of plastic fittings here, which I think is fine for now. But how many fabric gloves did we have in here? 5,000? Alright, let's turn our plastic fittings back on. That's on, that's on, that's on. Let's go. And I turn these off because with the market automation, as we get low, it's going to buy, no matter if we have plastic fittings available or not. So we want to control the amount of stock that we have. And so as this number gets pretty high, that's when I'll come back and shut this dispenser off. That way we're not constantly buying more plastic when we don't really need to. Alright, I believe we have more orders that we can take care of. Alright, so we are automating that right now, so that's alright. Let me shut that automation off, actually. I'm gonna let that build up our camo gloves, and we should be able to get this one paid off, or not paid off, but fulfilled. And see, they said that they had fixed this. Obviously, it hasn't. So if this happens to you, where it disappears, you can generally fix it just by coming on here and scrolling this window. Alright. As you can see, that's working wonderfully. And really, we could... I wonder... It's 2 every 2 seconds. It's 1 every second, right? And so that's going to be 2. And what does a dispenser up here do? That's 1 every half a second. Where is it? I think it's not. It's this one. So with this one, this allows you to cross the belt. So we could have a dispenser that is putting out plastic fittings once every 5 seconds. Or once every half a second, right? And that could then feed into a splitter, which could feed... Maybe we just end up with 2 splitters. And then one crosses over the other. Oh, let me consider this. Because we need another cutter. We're not we need another merger. Right? let me pause these. Actually, we'll turn these back on just so it runs through as much stock as possible. Alright. Now, if we take these, let me pause this. We can take all of this. Right? Move this up here. Now this becomes one of our recycling bin ones. So let me kind of shut that off. Alright. So the flow cross machine will take anything that comes in this way, go over this line, and come out here, right? That's kind of obvious given the shape. And that'll flow in here. So if we're dispensing our fabric vest through the splitter, one fabric vest will go through here, the other one will go up and over and then in through here. And if we're dispensing our plastic fittings, one will go up and one will go over. And because it's going into this one, it'll go directly into that line. And now, you don't have to do one on either side in the mixer. It'll work as long as it goes inside the mixer at all. So, this will be fine. The only risk is if it gets pushed off the side and onto the ground. But we've talked about that before, and so what I do in that instance is this, where you have that one coming over to our left, and this one going over to the right. That way, if it gets pushed off this way, then it will get pulled back on. Alright, let's try that. Alright, so I'm actually not sure what ones need power and what ones don't. Alright, so that's on. That needs it. That can be on. That needs it. That. Don't know if that needs power or not. Yeah, it must. Then one that needs it. This is already going. Alright, so on this side we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. Now this happens when you run out of storage space. So we're going to shut the boxer off. Ah, we have the automation shut off. Right, that needs to be fulfilled. That can be fulfilled. This can be fulfilled. No, that can't be fulfilled. This one can. Almost. This one can. That should free us up with enough space. Take the Hoover. And we're good. What about our market again? Alright, let's turn our automation back on. And let that be. Alright. So I need to add this guy, that one, and that one. And we need more utility capacity. Knew that was coming. Alright. Can we do it now? Yes. Oh, do we not get that guy? I think I might have clicked the wrong one. Let's see. Oh, we don't have any output. We want camo vest. Alright. We want that off. And on. That's what I want to see. Basically want to see that, you know, not pushing on the next vest down the line. Alright, now let's look here. What do we have for resources? We have under 1,000 fabric vests. Plastic fittings is holding steady, which is good. We're using about as many as we're making. And we're out of sheets. Alright. So as you can tell, this is not my favorite way of handling this. Frankly, I would rather have a dispenser set up to collect all of these finished camo vests. But it's fine. If we collected these with the recycle bin, we could spit them out through the last bit of the recipe, which is those zippers, right here, or the sewing machines rather, because that's the last step, and that only has to happen right before you box it. We can collect these camo vests as they come out of these mixers and put a new boxer up that would have 2 zippers or 2 sewing machines attached to the beginning of, the input of it, and that would be enough. But, it is what it is. For now, this will do. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to probably let this grind for a bit. Try to gather money. Again, I mean, we're down to 56,000, and we're pretty well staying there. But I'm hopeful that by increasing this, the output of our vests, we'll start to get better orders. I mean, $12,000 isn't bad, and now that we're making double the vests, we can probably fulfill that twice as fast, right? So that's the hope, at least. Might need to increase the amount of storage capacity, but for right now, it's gonna have to do. So drop a like, subscribe, let me know what you think about this series, what you think about Gunsmith, what you'd like to see. I mean, it's pre-alpha. If you start leaving comments about what you want to see in the game, I'm sure that it can make its way. Right? Enjoy yourselves. I'll talk to you later.